You said you recorded yours twice. I just recorded this entire thing a second ago with my mic shut off. So then I played the video, and it was silent, and I was checking if my headphones were working. They were. I just didn't record the audio. So now I'm going to try this again. Hey! Interesting perspective on the 9 to 5. So the idea of handing control over to others. I think life in general is an interesting balance of where control and agency should be focused, allowing some things to be automated, reducing the amount of decisions you have to make. Then, I don't think you should bash yourself as hard as you do for not having some productive days or not making the most productive decisions all the time. In your video, you said you want to become a respectable person. Dude, you're great. You're honestly making a lot more progress than a lot of other people. I understand the feeling of not being where you want to be, but I don't think it's necessarily helpful to bash yourself that hard. Part of this last year's focus on myself has been about the triggers that lead me towards those less desirable actions, the less productive actions, like the habit of going to my phone, going boop boop, and going straight into Instagram and then scrolling for 15 minutes. The simple action of moving the app to a different screen breaks that unconscious motion, and even if it's still there, it's still available. That split second extra time to find the app and get into it gives me a second to think, oh, okay, am I doing this intentionally, or am I just kind of just falling into the automatic trap of it? And then for positive stuff, a lot of it is trying to remember what it feels like when the positive thing is done, like a successful thing. So a lot of the time it happens for me in coding where I'll go through a rough section and the thought in my head is, man, I can't do this. I'm thinking, wow, what a reminder that I'm not as skilled as I want to be. And then if I keep my head at it for another hour or two, I end up coming up with a solution that's better than what I first thought even possible. So then when that happens, taking a second to remember how good it feels and how bad I felt before, and thinking, okay, so when I felt like that before, I know that I can do it, and remembering that I can get past it. It's worked for me a couple of times. I don't know. And also, I'm not trying to say this stuff I know how to solve any of your problems. I'm just saying it's the stuff that I'm trying. Then, right now, motivation-wise, it really helps to have my brother home. He's been consistently heading to bed at 10:30 and getting up at 5:30 every morning and heading to the gym. And it shows. I used to always be stronger than him growing up, being an older brother, 2 years older than him. But today we were helping my dad move into a new place, and we were using some of the gym equipment at his new apartment, and he outweighed me on a couple of different machines, and it was just oh. And so I'm jealous, but I'm inspired and I'm motivated. So I'm gonna see what I can do to take back that title. We'll see. Take back that. Yeah. Then what's that project you're working on with Dr. Closet? And why don't you think it's fun? What aspects of it? Slash kind of how did you get into that? Then your question: how do I cope with having that job, installing floors? And that is a super interesting question. And it's a bit of both. It's kind of a little bit of good and a little bit of bad, because honestly, I love the job. It's excellent pay. It's a flexible schedule and great company. Most of the day, if no one's there, we end up just having a discussion about anything. We've talked about everything from origin of morality in the universe to stereotypes to why people do different things, why people judge each other, getting into cultural things. It's really, really interesting, some of the discussions we have, especially given our different, we have pretty different backgrounds. But like my boss has said, no one wakes up dreaming to be a floor installer. It's not the work isn't necessarily something I can get behind and get super passionate about. Um, I've spent a lot of time in it, and I'll be working working installing floors through January, right before I head back to CU. Um, but what it has been is a great reminder of kind of, a lot of people say, do work that you care about and you'll never work like it in your life. That's already a little bit questionable, but I think another aspect of it that this job's made me think more about is having good company. If you enjoy the people that you're working with, even if the work isn't as fun, it becomes more fun because it's a group problem. It's you working together. It's a teammate. If you have good teammates. If you don't, if the work's not fun and the team's not fun, get out. That's not a fun situation. So yeah, it kind of added that different perspective of making sure my coworkers and the environment is good, just beyond the work. It's not something I want to be doing forever, and it's a good reminder though that's still there. So if I do have any rough times, that's still a skill I've learned, and I can go back to that when need to, maybe, I don't know. So I guess then on to a couple questions I had for you beyond those about your about the work you're doing with the professor. So practicing League as much as you do, does it ever feel like work? And if not, do you think it will at some point? I don't know, just thoughts around there. And then beyond those questions, I just wanted to recommend a book. It's called The Talent Code. Greatness Isn't Born, It's Grown. I haven't finished reading it yet, but it has some really interesting discussions about what separates very high achievers in different things from average achievers. And it goes into a lot of how to practice very effectively. And I'm trying to incorporate some of that stuff in when I'm learning JavaScript, more of Illustrator and stuff like that. So I think it'd be worth your time. Interesting read. Okay. I'm going to hope the audio recorded on this one. See you, Christoph.